Hey everybody, welcome to Spoilers Intended. This is a podcast about series and films, and this week I'm joined by Steven and Ryan, and we are talking about Acolyte, Season 1, Episode 5?
Five, yes.
Episode
I had to
5.
think about it too.
Yeah.
Night. Episode night.
So we have 15 minutes on the clock. Spoilers are going to be everywhere. This is your final warning. This was a big episode, and you don't want to be spoiled if you haven't already watched it. It's very good. Let's start it.
Right. Timer's on. Let's go.
So this absolutely earned the quotation marks intense violence marking that they had at the beginning of the episode.
So that popped up, and my wife was like, "Intense violence." Has it said that on every
For
episode?
Star Wars?
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they cut away that one time when they were going to show the dude beheading two people, but it was implied very heavily.
Well, it was implied, and then also he just snapped Yord's neck, like on screen.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
so
was
they-
the thing that I was like, wow, we haven't really seen violence like that in a Star Wars before.
Well, so they did the initial fight right at the start of the episode, and I was like, intense violence. Come on, like there's some cool moves there, like stabbing the Jedi, pulling the other Jedi onto it.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Like there's some good stuff in it, and it was like, okay, whatever. And then they just straight murk Jackie.
Yeah,
and it's like, whoa, okay, so this is actually, we're killing children now.
Yeah.
and not in the happy Anakin killing younglings manner.
Yeah, where the door closes and then it's implied.
Yeah.
No, this was just she just got stabbed through the chest multiple times.
We're snapping Yord's neck.
Yeah, that was probably some of the best lightsaber choreography I've seen in an incredibly long time.
Yeah, I thought the choreography was great, on especially how creative it got with some of the maneuvers they were doing.
It was a lot of like hand-to-hand combat too, and I think that's where the show has really shown how good it can be in the fight scenes that we've gotten so far, and this definitely exemplified that, I think, in quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, they really stepped it up in terms of the actual fight choreography, just in general in the show. I think that's been a highlight throughout. There have been some lowlights in other areas, but I got to say, man, they went real hard on this. I think the actual the impact of the episode, right? Like what happens, the child murder, the other murder, just a Sith on the screen just whooping some Jedi is great. I have other questions about what is going on
for sure.
Well, I mean, we got a parent trap going on here.
Yeah, like are we for real here? Like you're not getting up like, Osha, it's you. Why?
Wait,
why do you smell like burned hair?
and also, I sense your energy. It's literally Maze.
Yeah. Like,
so there. I mean, well, now granted, like he's been through a lot. He watched his Padawan get murdered, and then also seemingly a lot of his friends, and so there is that. Like there, and he almost murdered a dude that was hypothetically unarmed. He absolutely should have killed him, but we're just gonna let that slide because he's a Jedi, sure.
We'll bot back right to episode 2, where we're like, hey, we caught the accomplice to a Jedi's murder. You know what? You seem chill. We should let you go. Are you all incompetent?
Right.
Because the payoff happens, and what do you know? Which also, let me say, man, Kieran, is that his name?
I think so. Let me look it up.
It's one of those things where I'm always uncertain. Kamir.
Yeah.
That dude is ripped.
Oh, he
dude,
really is.
Dude.
I just realized, because my wife recognized him, he is from the show The Good Place. I don't know if you guys have seen that. And I didn't catch that was the same dude at all.
He's also in Top Gun Maverick, apparently.
Really?
But
I
he's
was
probably
like,
just one of the extra pilots.
he plays like this really dumb guy in The Good Place. And I was like, wait, that's that guy? Because like I guess his hair was different, is longer in this. You don't really recognize it. But he was ripped in The Good Place too.
But I mean, seriously, he has some really cool like just his whole outfit is pretty slick.
So I like and I don't know
the teeth on the helmet.
in current Star Wars Disney canon, what the I mean, obviously Beskar, right, can block lightsabers.
Well, but this was like overloading the lightsabers.
Right. Well, that's what I was gonna say is back in the EU, you had like I think it's cortosis ore, which some armor is made out of, and it shorts out the lightsaber when it strikes it.
The second that happened, when you see the thing, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I did like a Leo point meme with that, and then like when they step back and they're kind of sparking, and then they reignite their lightsabers. Lauren's like, "Well, I thought he cut them cut the lightsabers. No, that's not happening.
No, yeah.
No, it's overloading it. Yeah.
With the blocking, with the headbutt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with Lauren though. It took me until like the third or fourth one to realize what was happening. And I think because action's kind of quick, I just assumed, I was like, did he cut it? And then it would come back on and I was like, wait, okay. And then once the third one came back on, I was like, okay, I think his helmet's shorting him out or something.
He also blocks it with a bracer on his arm as well.
Yeah. So he has like a bracer for sure. And then I guess the helmet is also made out of it. The thing that I thought was really sweet, again, like the choreography in this was like the fights were fantastic. Jackie fighting him with the dual lightsabers was awesome.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, in that fight, watching that, I was like, man, I tell you, why weren't they talking about Anakin as like the next Jackie? Oh, that's why.
So the only thing,
she's going ham.
Well, she was clearly a very talented lightsaber artist, fighter, whatever. Unfortunately, came to a quick end, but man.
Well,
I know I hated it when she died.
It's the old Game of Thrones rule, right? You lose control and you pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, she was doing some sweet stuff there, but surprise, bad guy, tricky.
Yeah.
I will say, I think, again, all the action, great. The character motivations.
Well, before we move off the action,
questionable. Yeah.
Right. We left May in the previous episode being like, I think I want to betray my master and turn myself into the Jedi. And Jackie's like, hey, you're under arrest. And she's like, I don't like that. Like, well, you were just going
I know, like you were about to put cuffs on yourself
right
10 minutes ago. Yeah. No. The other thing I was gonna say about the action before we move past that is like the editing sometimes wasn't great. I got very frustrated with I counted at the front. There was like 4 screen wipe transitions in like under 3 minutes or something. It was like we kept zooming back and forth, and I was like, I don't feel like that's the way to do action on 3 planes.
Well, especially
you know what I mean?
When you're like, hey, we committed to big action sequences. Focus on it. Give me the camera. Let's watch it all flow, baby.
Well, they would cut to Soul and the whatever we're calling the Sith dude, and it would be like, boom, boom, 2 hits, and like, okay, here we go, wipe. And I'm like, wait, hold on, no, I need a little more than that. And then it would go to
I think that could possibly be some of the issue with the runtime, because it actually the episode lasted a little bit longer than I was expecting because they got more story in than I was expecting. But even then, like, and it's definitely one of the
short. Well, it could have gone a little more.
But I think this is kind of where the issue with the Acolyte kind of like shows its form, because like the first, I'll say like 3/4 of the episode were just banging great fight scenes, really well choreographed, incredible action that we haven't seen in a long time for Star Wars. And then the second that you like, and it's like, and now back to the plot was like, ooh, this is still really awkward, and it feels like you're grinding a lot of gears to make a lot of these motivations make sense.
Yeah. And I think too, like the thing, my wife, she turned to me towards the end of it, and she was like, I just don't care about any of these characters, I don't think. She's like, I still don't. They haven't given us anything to make us go like, oh man, OSHA rules.
Well,
I can't wait to root for her.
That I like. We got rid of Jackie. We got rid of yours.
I was gonna say Jackie's the only one that I was like, no.
well, like talking about character motivations, right? Like Yord, I get it. He's like, hey, Soul gave us an order. We're doing it. I am by the book. I understand how this character functions. And it's like, well, we got rid of him. Like, well, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
When they came back and he died, I was like, you drug him back here, OSHA.
Yeah, you did this.
I'm curious at where it's going with the Parent Trap scenario now.
Because again, to be clear, like, I don't know where they're going with it.
And we've got the sniffer right there who can obviously, he
knows that it's May.
Master Soul, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
She smells terrible.
Is that like, since Yord was the only one that could talk to that dude, is that like that dude's going to be freaking out, and like Soul's going to be like, what is it?
That is what's going to happen.
When Pip gets reunited head to body, because the little sniffer dude's got... Pip's going to freak out, and that's when Soul's going to be tipped off to it. Now, what they do after that, I don't know. Who knows?
Well, so the thing is, now that she's back on the line of, like, clearly has something insidious planned, like, I'm assuming that she's going to try and murder him. And if that's the case, then, like, it'll just happen, and then he'll just get stabbed, and then, like, I don't know. Again, I don't know where this is going, because, and obviously, like, Ymir, he has to know that it's not May, right? Ymir?
Right. Yeah. Like that was the other part where it's like he is angry at May. You were going to betray me, and then it's like, hey, look at her here. Let me cover her and be tender with her. It's like, okay, so you seem to be aware this is OSHA.
Yes.
And you're gonna play some other game here.
Yeah. That was my read on it. Because obviously she has shorter hair, but I think he understood that was OSHA.
He's not an idiot.
He knew that May was doing something. Yeah.
Which, let me tell you, he might be able to get away with it with her, because at this point she's probably got brain damage. She's been knocked out twice in the span of like 25 minutes, and she's like out cold the second time.
Don't let her go to sleep. She's been out for 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's not healthy.
Yeah.
So the other thing too, and I'll definitely say, like, because going into this episode, we knew that there was going to be a big fight because of the end of the last episode, and going into it, I was like, I don't think that they have the gumption to murder a lot of characters, and they did, and I have to give them credit for that, especially because every single one of the characters that had lines, so Jackie and Yord, they had definitive death. It was like they are 100% dead. This isn't going to be Inquisitor showing back up 3 episodes later and be like, "Look, I'm still fine."
Stab him in the gut so that Jackie can survive. Yeah, no, they. I again, I'll give them credit for this. They went hard on that. They said, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna have some on-screen death of characters that people are most likely interested in and attached to, and we're gonna make it dead. Like these people are definitively gone."
Yeah. And I think, like, and I guess just because this was the first episode that no one had seen, including like early show reviewers and that kind of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how the community reacts to it now. Just some early reactions that I've seen just from people on my Facebook group and that kind of stuff, like, was very good. Just
in our Discord, shameless plug.
Hey. But yeah, I'm going to be interested to see what people think of the show after this. But going into next episode, I have no idea where this is going at all.
So my problem now is it's pacing, right? Because like we're 5 episodes. We have 6, 7, and 8 left, and that's it.
Yeah.
And like we're only getting 30-ish minutes an episode, so we've got an hour and a half to wrap this up. But it's like we haven't actually definitively done anything yet. We still don't know what Soul did, which again is the kind of the question like Ymir is confronting him about. Like, how do you know what happened? You were I didn't see you on the sidelines in this anywhere, I don't think.
My honest to God fear is that's the entire last
it's just gonna
episode.
Be so
it's just going to be a lore
like
dump,
a backstory,
just a huge dump. Yeah, like they really, I really think they messed up with episode 3,
and because they could have sparsed that in.
Spacing this out, it would have been such a bigger reveal and hit when it finally happened, you know?
Or if episode 3 could have just been like, I mean, you could have cut that down to like 10 minutes. It could have been like inserted into an episode. Really?
Oh yeah,
easily. Was, I don't know. I feel like they're either going to do this thing to where like next episode, both Ymir and Soul are going to talk to the respective people they're with, either knowing that it's OSHA and May or being confused about that. Yeah. And there's going to be a lot of backstory and admittance coming out. Yeah. And that's where we'll get a lot of it.
Probably. But that's going to just, again, we're going to be back to the grinding it back to a slow.
Well, so the issue that I worry about now is now that we have the full reveal, clearly Sith is here, blah, 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 blah. I want to know what the actual end goal is outside of whatever emotional payoff we have with, it's like Soul's not who you think he is. He's a bad Jedi because he murdered a bunch of women. I don't know. And,
Force switches.
Force switches, whatever. But it's
the cult. The other cult.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those where like I worry that there's not going to be enough of a finale to like bring anything around. We're like, oh, that was worth watching.
I bet they're going to leave it pretty wide open for a season 2, just based off of how every episode has ended kind of on a what? That's it?
Yeah.
Like this episode, it ended and I was like, what? Okay. Every episode this season has ended and my reaction is like,
presumably, right, Soul's goal here is kind of the redemption with May, right? So 1 minute left, guys. Maybe episode kicks on and he's just like, yeah, no kidding, you're May.
I know, yeah.
Which then of course it's the question of like, okay, it's May. Why did you just leave OSHA on the ground?
Yeah.
With brain damage? It's like it still isn't good.
No.
But like we at least have some idea what his goal is. The Sith seems to just want to be free of the Jedi. Okay,
so do the
luck.
Jedi know the Sith exist at this point?
Well, clearly, like Soul
should
didn't.
by now.
Soul was like, "A what?" And I'm like, "So like, there's but this dude's not the first Sith."
No.
So then,
no, definitely
yeah,
not.
like that. I feel like I need a little more explanation.
But well, so that's the thing is like Mace Windu in episode 1 was like the Sith have been extinct for a millennia or centuries or whatever.
Yeah.
So clearly, like whatever happens in this either changes canon or it basically like is covered up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, we just need them to figure out what the actual character motivations are, so we can care about them. Time is up, though.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was 15 minutes. Obviously, if you want to continue discussing, you should absolutely join our Discord. You can check it out at spoilersintendedpodcast.com.
It's free to join.
It is free to join. We're going to have episodes like this every Tuesday night or Wednesday morning for you guys. But
we're recording it immediately after the episode.
Immediately after we watch it, yeah. And then we'll have the main full recap.
Full series review in the form of our normal episodes. Obviously, check out everything on the website. And we really appreciate you listening.
Yeah.
So that sounds like all the time we have. So until next time, I'm Andrew.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steven.
And every spoiler was intended.